today I'm going to talk to you about user stories. Now, user stories don't need to be scary. There's absolutely no reason. I'm going to talk to you today about a model that we can use to run all of your user stories through, a practical model to get you closer to sign off first time. So the model we're going to talk about today is the INVEST model. And when I talk about model, it's really a set of steps that you can run through with each of your user stories to make sure that you've hit the mark and that they're as close to finish as possible before you put them in front of your customer. It's a way to break down your user stories in a way that makes sense. So you're at the start of your digital transformation project. You've got potentially hundreds of requirements to get through, which could be 1,000, maybe 2,000 user stories by the time you're finished. That can be scary, but there's no need. We're going to use INVEST to make sure that before they get in front of your techie, that you've covered all the bases. So what does INVEST stand for? I. Independent. So each of your user stories should be independent of each other as best as possible. It's never that clean cut. You want to be able to pull your stories out of a backlog. So you can take your stories for a sprint. You can go through sprint planning. You can put them in front of the customer, let them prioritize, and there aren't too many dependencies on each other. That's I. And negotiable. So you should be able to negotiate those stories with the customer, but also with the devs. So you don't want to write your stories in a way that they are locked in. You don't want to design in a story. So that's an important one as well. You want to have that conversation. Your user story should be a conversation starter for your devs. So you can talk to them about what the business needs, what the user needs, and they can tell you about how best we can design it based on what they need. So that's a conversation you can have with your devs.
Next up is V. V means value. Value for the product, for the project, for the business, and most importantly, for your users. If your user stories aren't adding value, then what are we doing here?
E, estimable. So when you're documenting your user story, when you're defining your description, your acceptance criteria, your assumptions even, our testers, our devs need to be able to estimate how much time will be weighted against that particular user story. Again, that links directly to the independent nature of your user story. You want to be able to estimate them independent of each other. And then the next one up is S. So your stories should be small. You shouldn't have an essay inside your user story. It shouldn't have paragraph after paragraph. It should be small. It should represent a piece of the wider puzzle. So you're talking about a user story, a small piece of their business process and how they work. Finally, T, testable. So each of those stories we have to be able to test on their own. We have to be able to run through that acceptance criteria line by line and say, yes, that's passed or that's failed. And we can then put that through its sit cycle, give it to the customer, that's my dog you can hear, put it through the UAT cycle. They can pick user stories out as they need. And so testable is the final one. So with these processes that you go through, these steps that you go through in the INVEST model, if you use that in conjunction with story maps and sprint planning and tech validation, all of that is going to get it closer to you being able to put it in front of a customer to get that sign off so you can get them something into production. But as long as you use these steps through each of your stories, you're going to have a pretty decent looking user story at the end of it. So if you think this has helped and you think it's useful, please share it along, whether it's the video or by word. Tell somebody who doesn't know. Make it easier for them starting a digital transformation. And I appreciate it. Thanks for watching and take care of yourself.